How did we jump to the final boss on our fourth goddamn
I,
game?
I, ah,
Daria, you are up. You were outside the blast radius, so you see
oh
this
my
happen.
God, I don't
You,
have hit points left, really.
you smell something real crispy.
Regular or
Yeah,
extra crispy?
and I don't have any healing spells yet.
Rotisserie. That was a bad joke.
Oh no, it was good.
Okay, so she leaves. Where are the guards?
So unless you engage with them, they are not going to be a problem here. They are also going to get the blank out of dodge because they're basically their muscle just disappeared. So they will fight you if you fight them, but if you don't, they will just go. They'll run away and disappear.
Okay, I want to get over to Rio first and make sure he's okay.
He's not okay. We can establish that right now. He just took 20 damage to the face.
He's very not okay. And try to help him. I want to help him as much as I can possibly help him. Just let him know that I'm here. You're a mess now.
All right, so Caleb is our rules expert. So how does she help you? Is there like a healing skill that she can do?
That is a great question, and I don't even know. So we could do like a first aid check or something based on her skills. I don't know if that would save me from. I'm not dead. I'm not unconscious. I do have the ongoing damage.
Can I doctor you up to stop that in any way?
Are the guards still around the tent? No, you said they were leaving.
They are leaving, but they're still there at the moment. If you want to interact with them, you would be able to, but they're not just going to come over and stab you. If you don't stab them, they're going to leave.
So Daria, you come over to Rio, and Rio is real crispy, like eyebrows burned off, clothes are a little bit on fire. I'm patting myself down. I'm just smoke everywhere, and I'm gonna say no. Saul, we need to get Saul. And if those guys are still there, I'm be like, yo, can we save our friend?
He's already dead.
Well, then leave.
Dun dun dun.
Can you leave so we can get him and maybe tend to him?
Well, at this point,
I'd like to give him a burial, something.
We won't defile the body. Again, they're basically leaving at this point, so they're like talking over their shoulder, you know.
Okay.
You're lucky. If I didn't have somewhere to be.
Yes, we are very lucky. Please and thank you. Have a good evening.
Jeez.
Yes, I'm definitely not going to insult them or antagonize them, but
yeah, no, I will limp my way with you into the tent to.
Yeah. So let's.
Condition our friend is in.
So, well, I guess for Daria first, so since it's your turn, are you going to try to do like any sort of healing thing, or do we just not worry about that?
Yeah, if I can, I'd definitely like to. I don't know, find some.
I mean, if anything, I think probably if you just take your turn, you could probably help Rio like stop, drop, and roll so that the 5 ongoing would go away. I don't think there's any way for you to give him hit points back, but I'm comfortable with you just like you know, jumping on him and patting him out so that he won't take additional damage going forward. I think that's fair.
Ointment on the really burned parts, or finding a wet cloth in the tent and helping him stop the burninating.
All right, so we will drop the escalation die out. We are no longer in combat. Saul, make your third death saving throw.
Come on, Saul.
16.
That is what you needed. So you are on the edge of death, but you are not on the other side.
Well, wait. This is even better. If you roll a 16 plus, use a recovery die. No, sorry. Use a recovery to return to consciousness and heal up to the number of hit points you rolled with your recovery. So whatever your recovery is, you can roll that.
Got that.
Bounce back.
So right about the time that Rio and Daria are entering the tent, you would see Saul basically sort of shaking his head awake. So let's see how this plays out for a minute. I'm just gonna lean back a little bit. You guys, play amongst yourself for a little bit here.
I think he, Saul, come on. No, you just wake up. We don't have all day. Wake up now. Wake up.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, if he's sitting
Hi.
down, I'm gonna sit down. We're gonna rest for a second.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What the hell
Hey.
happened?
Hey, Daria. I got stabbed right here. And I'm pointing to the large dagger that's sitting out of his chest.
Well, she took the dagger with her.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like still sitting there.
Yeah, no. She took it with her. She wouldn't leave that behind. But you have this big gash, like right around your neck collarbone area.
I got stabbed right here.
Try to help him. That's love for you, I guess. Huh? So.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think she liked me very much.
No. I think I picked up one of your memories when I was out there. Do you remember having a fight with her?
No, I don't. I mean, it was things were going good. We had dinner. I mean, the dinner was pretty good. There was like light banter, and yeah, things were fine. And then all of a sudden, stab, and I'm like, ow! And then she stabbed me in it.
Yeah.
Where is she?
She's gone, man. She teleported away.
Evaporated somewhere. You had a fight with her to the death before.
How do you know that?
I got hit with a memory from the shadow thing. Yeah, big purple magic whip wrapping around you. Kind of a lover's quarrel to the death kind of thing.
I don't know what's more interesting, the fact that was an old memory or that you saw his memory.
I know.
Does I want to look down at the ground real quick. Does Saul have his shadow back?
No, Saul has no shadow at the moment.
So I might be a little woozy here, but are you seeing this? Saul, you're missing your shadow.
Well, I know I don't look very good, and I got stabbed and everything. That's kind of mean.
Look at the ground, jerk. Your shadow is actually gone. Like if I hold up light, it's gone.
From the little feast table and like.
Wow.
See, there's nothing.
That's.
See, I can make a rabbit. I can make a thing. You don't have a.
Quiet, Coyote.
Can't do figure puppets. No shadow puppets anymore.
Not for now.
We fought your shadow outside. That's what messed us up to begin with.
Yeah.
Um.
And did it was hot. And did anything happen to you? I saw the ash rain on you when we killed the shadow thing. It was like ash rain kind of.
I was on fire, so I don't know what's the first ash or what's the second ash.
Yeah.
But I need a new shirt, is what I'm saying.
Mario, you were on fire?
Yes.
Saul, look at you kind of woozily.
So your girlfriend can summon.
That girlfriend is a strong word at this point.
Okay, your ex.
I think we're definitely on a break.
You're considering your options. Your former compatriot.
Your Facebook status changed to it's complicated.
Oh, it's so complicated.
It's weirdsies. So yeah, she can summon crazy magic purple lightning armor. Whoa. And when she teleported away, she blew up in my face with a fireball, which is why I look like this now.
So you're talking a literal fireball and not a metaphorically blew up.
No, like real. She operated in fire.
I didn't do this to
immolate
myself.
herself, like to
Oh.
travel. I have to say it was impressive, but it was awful because he got
That's terrible. Are you guys thirsty and hungry? There's some wine left over there, I think.
well, that well, that's kind. Thank you. Fine.
Where's did the guy? Are they gone? The guys outside?
Yep. I'm sorry, that
The
was
guards
probably
are
to
gone.
Um.
Yeah, they wandered off.
That's very good, actually.
So
Yeah, it was pretty good.
so we've got a lot to talk about, but I think collectively all of us need a nap. We're pretty much dead. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to Howard.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't stay here.
No.
No.
Let's go.
No.
I'm gonna send Gremlin out, like, to go tell Howard, holy shit, these 3 people are almost dead. And we are going to collectively limp back into camp, leaning
Saul,
on
stand up.
all of us leaning on each other's shoulders.
But I grabbed the wine and I grabbed some like grapes.
Put his robes back on.
So
did she leave anything behind?
Yeah, she left basically everything behind. This is her tent. It still has all of her possessions, that armor that she was wearing, that big shield she had on.
I'd like to absolutely look around there before we leave. Like, yes, what little tasties can we bring with us?
So inspecting the armor, you will see that it is basically a facsimile. It's nowhere near as nice as it appeared when she was wearing it. It's something you could still wear, but it's not going to give you the protection like it looked like. It looked like plate armor, this, in gold dragon inlay, this big gold dragon shield. It's not paper mache, but it's also not fully functional either. There's no gold or jewels or anything left behind, but there's food, bedroll, backpack, just stuff she would have had with her, but
no papers or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
So I'm being a very bad DM. I made up a new NPC last time, and I neglected to bring that with me. So whoever it was that won't let you in camp because you got fired, and you have to have the new security person, still won't let you in camp because none of you have lanyards at the moment. So you're going to have to sneak around them.
Oh, no. I just pressed to digitize them. I just do it.
So we have that scene where it's almost like, check the list. You're not on the list. Check it again. Oh, yeah. Now you're on the list. So you don't have lanyards, but then you have lanyards, and they're like, oh, okay. I guess you're okay to come in.
It's the middle of the night. It's dark. You just missed them the first time, friend. Also, I was on fire.
Yeah. As you walk past, you hear them say, do you smell toast?
Yeah, toast.
Smells like burnt dog. Okay, so yeah, you will make your way to Howard, who again is the dwarven forged doctor that manages all the injured workers that work at the dig site. So Howard, let's see, we haven't really done a whole lot with Howard. So he's a dwarven, basically like a warforged. He's a construct, but who has injected personality into himself. So what do you think Howard does on his free time? Like what do you interrupt when you bang on his door and barge into his tent? Is he at dinner? Is he reading philosophy? Is he looking at the stars through a telescope, writing poetry? Like, what do you think Howard does for fun when Howard's being Howard?
I think Howard is really into origami.
I was going to say that. I was going to say origami and like little miniature mechanical things.
Yeah.
Nice. So doing some origami, maybe like a little clockwork, like mouse that just sort of like moves forward and then moves back, and it has to be reset with like a rubber band. I love that. Okay. So he's in the middle of trying to make like an origami flower, and there's definitely skill, but it's also not quite right either. You can see what they're going for, but it's not quite there. But still, Howard's got plenty of time to practice. And then, typical, oh dear, as he'll stand up from his table and see, both Rio and Saul limping in, and Daria's not much better, and he will begin to see to your wounds. If there's anything in particular you want to say to do with Howard, we can, but otherwise we'll just kind of fast forward through it, where you'll get some healing magic and be revivified.
So, not necessarily with Howard, but just point of order now that we're kind of done with this. Did we know that Saul had been poisoned? Or did we just know that they had a fight?
Yeah, I don't think that part came out.
Okay.
I got poisoned, FYI.
Oh, hey, thanks. Thanks for sharing, friend.
That's
Sorry, my brain's a little scrambled from being, stabbed. And
Yeah.
poisoned.
So maybe we should put that food down, Daria. Let's be careful.
Oh no, it was her lipstick.
Classy. Okay. Never mind.
rotten siren of a lady.
Yeah. I'm
Cool.
sorry?
I just think she's a rotten siren of a lady. I just.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
mean,
I heard
it's really
not that.
sad, but it's awful. Yeah. And
Yeah, no, definitely.
lipstick poison.
So you say so for some reason she's convinced that we have met, and I have somehow apparently wronged her severely. And that's why she tried to kill me. Apparently twice now.
Yeah. I didn't see why. I just saw that it was an epic battle full of magic and things and all of things, but
It sounds really cool.
it actually was, but you were in dire circumstances and it didn't look like you were winning.
Well, I mean,
Just cracking an arcane whip at you and you had some kind of armor around you.
Yes.
Arcane.
Like kind of look like these like dragon wing things.
Kind of translucent, kind of reflecty, kind of something. And I only know that it was you in the memory because it reflected back and I could see my face. That wasn't me, was you.
That's really weird, isn't it?
Yes, but it was also so kind of cool, I have to say. But yeah. But not the situation. I mean, I'd rather. But I'm glad I didn't barge in on you in other situations. But that was bad.
I mean, it was kind of just dinner and then stabbing.
I don't want to know about your sexy times. Just fine.
So it's kind of like a murder mystery dinner.
It was a murder mystery dinner.
That's true. But that's a hell of a ticket.
It was yeah.
But you're better now, and that's important.
Yes, but so apparently she's now failed twice to kill me. Maybe.
That's true, and it's only the one memory is the one, so I don't know how many other times she might have tried to do it.
So how long do you think you're going to remember this? Because when I remember things, I don't remember them very long.
Oh. And I look at Rio, and we kind of have a look, and I just remember things. I don't lose them.
Okay.
So you're losing memories and a shadow. That's two things.
My shadow hasn't come back yet, right?
Nope.
Yep,
you still have no shadow.
And I'm gonna lean back and just check Saul's, check my shadow, check Saul.
And Rio doesn't have two shadows or anything like that.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nod to Rio, you got yours.
So no, I don't. I'm not continuing to lose memories. It's just we'll be when we were down in the temple, right, underground, and I just remembered something. I don't really remember what that was. It just kind of came and then it left. Yeah.
And this was all happening at night, so it's got to be pretty late at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean the date was probably 7 p.m. and I'm sure Howard's going to be working for a few hours, so we can kind of pass the night as quickly or as granularly as you want.
Yeah, I think all of this chit chat was happening while we were sitting in the tent and he was tending to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe over the course of the evening, like at different points, we pass out and sleep a little bit, and maybe one or two of us wakes up and chit chats, but then goes back to sleep. And Howard doesn't have to sleep, so he's just working on us all night long.
Yeah. So are you talking out loud so Howard can hear as well? Or are you trying to keep anything from Howard?
I think Howard operates under doctor-patient privilege,
Yeah.
so I think we're cool.
All right. So then,
And also, if not, we almost died. So I don't think our thought process is that great right now.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'll say basically the next morning. So you spend pretty much the entire night in his tent, getting tended to. He is a cleric, so he does have access to magical healing as well. So in my mind, it makes sense for you to all be fully rested and recovered the next morning. But as you're leaving, he will hold Saul back for just a moment and say something along the lines of, if it's not out of my place to say this, Saul, it appears that someone wants you dead. And as far as they know, they've succeeded. So perhaps that's something you could keep in mind.
That's a very good observation. I should wear disguise.
And with
And
that,
straw mustache.
yes, it is me, Paul.
Do it.
All right. So the next morning, the three of you are ushered out. You will be able to just not have to deal with the security person, who I cannot believe I didn't. I wrote their name down, but I don't have my notes in front of me. And you can make it to the bank of the Fang.
Miriam.
Miriam's
yeah, she's trying to kill us.
Yep.
That's Marine.
Oh, that's right. Miriam, that is right. Thank you. That's probably why I got confused, is I made the names too close together. So yep. Marion was the woman who tried to kill you. Miriam is the one who makes your life miserable by trying to keep you out of the dig site now. But you're able to avoid Miriam, and you make it to the Bank of the Fang, where several wagons have gathered for this trek to the north to Forge, which is the current home of the Dwarven people. It's the where the Dwarven king resides. It is where your supplies are coming from. So the plan is for you to journey north with this wagon train to get new supplies, and then Daria, being the river guide, will be on the boats as they're sailing down the Fang back to the dig site. While you're there, Daria has a side mission to give a as of yet unnamed contact a copy of this book that she has, which will let Narpson know if someone has been futzing with the coded reports she is sending to the Dwarven King. And I think that's everything. Oh, and you might want to check to see if maybe this Prince of Shadows really is dead, because apparently the Dwarven King has his body at Forge and is very proud of the fact that he finally killed that SOB. So that might be something you'd look into as well.
But also, Saul, she thinks she's killed you. So maybe don't disabuse her and whoever else she's with that you're not dead. I mean, you should think of another name to call you if we need to, or something. I don't know. If you give yourself a disguise, just think about it.
I'm already working on it.
Okay, just think about it. I want to go to the commissary.
How are you with disguises? Because I don't do that very well.
Okay. And Alex the humanoid reminded me of that, so thank you, Alex the humanoid.
He also gave us a cheer for 100, but I have no idea what that means, but thank you very much anyways.
Thank you for cheering.
Yes, thank you for cheering.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. I think with prestidigitation, I think that Rio can make you look like whatever for a minute or two or something.
Yeah, I can definitely help out if we need to, but it's not like an all-day thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll get some new clothes and Forge, and maybe I'll get something done with my hair, and it'll work. Exactly. An eye patch.
A hat.
Yes.
Eye patch, maybe some highlights, something.
Yeah, we can make this happen.
Excellent.
Let's do frosted tips.
All right. So I'll give you guys each
Tread
a chance.
Pirate Roberts.
Is there anything in particular you want to do before we start the journey north towards Ford? So this could be something you do as a group. It could be something you want to do to get alone. Again, writing letters, meeting with anybody. And it can be as long or as short as you want. I'll start with you, Saul. Is there anything you want to do before we start the journey north?
No, no. Though I think Saul will probably be a little more cautious than he otherwise might be. Look over his shoulder a little more often than he would otherwise have. Because he pretty much everything he has he carries with him. So
Nice.
I don't need to carry. I don't need to get any other supplies or anything like that.
I just want to mention, Bit Player mentioned, wear a mask, stay 6 feet. Oh, wait, well, wrong world. All right, Rio, is there anything in particular you would like to do on this day before we head north?
So I had sent off a couple physical letters at some point in a previous game.
Yeah, I think that was only like literally a day ago in game terms. I know it's been a month for us, but I think that was last episode.
Yeah, that does feel right. Okay, so then no. I would just pack everything up, make sure we're good. Yeah.
All right. And then Daria, anything that you would like to do?
I want to go to the commissary and see if I can find, or bit sellers, and see if I can find. I want to grab a blank journal.
Okay.
And I also want to try to find a blank journal that looks like the book I'm currying to the other place.
Okay.
Or something that's similar.
Let me do a classic Michael high, low, or equals. So basically I'm rolling 2d20s. One of them is the control die. So you're trying to guess if the other die is going to be higher than that number rolled, lower than that number rolled, or exactly the same number rolled. If you get it right, you get what you want. If you pick even, no one ever has, or equals, and they're actually equal, something miraculous will happen. So high. It is higher. So yes, so you are able to find a journal, and you happen to find one that also looks exactly like the one that you got from Narvson.
Nice.
Tip also gave us a 100-point cheer, and I do seriously mean this. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I will look into that for next time.
Right. And then I want to go over to the mess tent, and I want to grab a bunch of snacks and a bunch of little tidbits that Gremlin might like.
Okay.
Like little bits. Yeah. And send some letters home.
Okay. Fair enough. So later in the afternoon, after everyone has had a chance to settle themselves in and get there, you will meet at the bank. And there are only 2 other people going with you. Both of these are dwarves. Rhesus is the leader of the dwarven train, and they will be in the front tent. And then Alfan. What's that?
The other one's Pieces?
No, Alfan. But if Rhesus makes it all the way there in one piece, then perhaps things have gone poorly. So it's a 3-wagon train, 3 little wagons, mostly like supplies, things that need to be repaired, things that like artifacts they've dug up that are interest that they are sending towards Forge for whatever reason. So one of the 3 you will be in, you will be able to sleep in. Rhesus is in one, Alphen is in the other. So they're being pulled by mules, and the mules will follow the train. So no one needs to drive your wagon. But if, let's just say there's a reason why it would get spooked and start to try to go off a mountain, it might be a good idea for someone to do that. Not saying that's going to happen, but just so you know, you don't actually have to drive the wagon, but you can. It's going to take about 10 days of travel to get to Forge. It's a pretty well-worn path at this point. This is something that's been going on pretty much continuously. Every couple of days, they send a new train, and then the supplies come down, and it just sort of cycles back and forth on and on and on. So for the first couple of days, nothing really happens. It's pretty much what you would expect. Nice weather. The sound of the river beside you is probably good for lulling you to sleep. You have plenty of food, but there's also enough leisure time. You stop probably for lunch. You'll stop pretty early in the evening if somebody wants to try their hand at fishing. You can. Daria, this might feel like the most you've been home in a very long time. So this might be something that you particularly appreciate.
Oh, absolutely. She'd be talking to all the mules, know all their names, and not realize that it's not something anyone can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something she does innately and doesn't remember or really understand that it's. She may not have even done it around other people a lot because she's talking to animals out on the river. So a lot of other people may not have seen her do it before to think it was weird.
Okay.
But she's just talking, making sure they're okay. Yeah, just loving that we're traveling.
Okay. So 2 more days will pass. So you're not quite halfway through your journey. I guess mathematically you're 40% of your way. Hey, I'm from Kentucky. Kentucky educational system. And things have continued to go pretty well. But earlier than expected, Rhesus is going to call a halt to the wagon train. So you are basically in the third wagon, and you have stopped earlier than expected. So how are you reacting to this? So far no one's said anything to you, but you definitely know it's not dinner time yet.
So as we've been traveling, we've been chit-chatting and interacting with these other dwarves. It's not like they're ignoring us,
No,
right?
no, not. And they're very personable, but they're also been there, done that. Like they're not going to be overly interested in you, but they'll share meals with you. They'll chit chat around the fire at night, that kind of thing. But they have a job to do, and they're going to continue to do that even while you're talking.
Sure. So in this particular case, I think we'll pop out, and I'll walk up to the front, looking around as I go, kind of seeing if I notice anything that looks out of the ordinary. And if not, I'll just say, "Hey, what's going on? Something wrong?"
All right. So you will find Rhesus and Alphan at the edge of the river. So you're like maybe 30 yards off from it, off the bank of the river. So it's always nearby, but it's not like wagons are gonna tip in. And they have called a halt to the wagon, and they have walked off of the track you're on towards the river. And there's just little bits and pieces of like wood that has sort of gathered here. And they're picking up and inspecting it and kind of looking around. And, Rhesus will basically look over and say, "This looks like pieces of one of our barges." And Daria would certainly know, and if everyone else doesn't, that some of the barges have gone missing. That's one of the reasons why Daria is going. Their fear that they have either, wrecked or sunk or been attacked. But it looks like one of the barges at some point has broken apart, and some of the pieces have sort of gathered here in a little swell. So they're looking at this, right? It's not like a lot. There's not like a half a barge here. There's like 4 or 5 pieces of wood, but pretty clear this is worked wood that has been part of a ship at some point in time.
Definitely jump down, and if they want me to, and go inspect.
Sure. They have no training at this. This is something probably with your woods guide background you might. So you want to look around, use any sort of skills to see if you can determine anything?
Absolutely. I would like to.
Can I basically roll to assist in an investigation kind of thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure how this works in 13th Age. So I'll just say if you roll well, Rio, then I'll give her a bonus on Daria's roll.
Yes.
Can I take a Benny on this? I'll wait to use my Benny. That wasn't very good.
So I definitely used a roll here that I should have rolled in that fight.
All right.
Now that I've rested and I'm no longer on fire for the last couple days, I'm super sharp, and all of my instincts from investigating dungeons and that situational awareness, and of course Gremlin's helping me out too.
Yeah. So what is Gremlin doing? Like, how does it look in your, like, how is Gremlin helping?
So this is like that kind of unspoken somewhat psychic bond between us is familiar. I'm looking around at stuff and she's nosing around and she's like saying, "Oh, look at this over here." And I'm like saying, "Well, wait a minute, I'm looking at it from this angle." So she's like rooting through the grass and stuff, and yip, yip, and I go over and look at it, and maybe I talk to her a little bit, but of course she just doesn't talk back,
right,
that anyone else can hear. And then maybe I'm like, oh, look at that over there. And she's like, no, don't look at over there. That's stupid. That's a bird. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Stuff like that.
All right.
So all in all, I have a 27.
Okay, so Darius, what I'll do for you is I'll actually give you advantage. We'll use the 5e mechanic so you can re-roll your roll and just take the better result.
That was a 3.
Okay.
So the 6 beat the 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, so not a great result, but also not the worst. So probably Rio is actually picking up on some more of the nuances than you are. I think what makes sense to me is you're more focused on the nature rivery part, and Rio is more focused on the boat, not where it's supposed to be part. So what Daria is going to figure out is this is sort of a natural whirlpool that has formed from the river. So it makes sense that pieces and parts that maybe have broken off in other places would have gathered here. So you don't think this is where this came from. Like it was upriver somewhere else. This boat fell apart, was broken apart, whatever. These are just the parts that have gathered here. What Rio has sort of noticed is there are prints and marks as if something might have also been gathered to here and has crawled out of this pool and climbed up the bank. So there are actual boot prints and hand marks where something has climbed out of the water at this point.
Yeah, so are we talking human, dwarf, monster?
Booted feet prints, so you can't really tell that humanoid in size. And then again, the claw marks look more like a finger hand clawing. So could be elf, could be dwarf, could be human. Doesn't look like a monster. It isn't extremely large or extremely small. So you would guess humanoid.
Are there any knee prints or anything like that? Like they were crawling?
Yes, I would actually say that. Yeah. So again, imagine someone that was shipwrecked. They gathered here. Maybe they even held on to some of these pieces of wood and then climbed out of the river here. What you would expect to see on the riverbank would be noticeable.
I'd love to see. Daria's gonna look around and see if she can, oi, anyone around? Kids. Come on, friends. Who's around? And see if she can spy a raccoon or a little chipmunk or something who might have seen. Anyone see what went on here?
So you're trying to interact with nature?
Nature talking.
All right. So there will be a big bullfrog just sitting there on the side of the river.
Oh, hi. Oh, you're a fine fettled friend, aren't you? You're got some legs on you. Yeah. Handsome.
The frog will do guns out poses.
Well done. Well done, you. The barge here that crashed, did it get attacked by something or did it just crash naturally? Attacked by something, 1 croak. Natural crash, 2 croaks.
The frog's going to look at you, and it'll do the thing where it's its front jowl thing extends, but there's no actual noise. So it's sort of giving you, I guess, I don't know answer.
Oh, you weren't here to see it. Oh, well. All right then. You didn't see it happen, huh? Yeah, 1 for yes, 2 for no.
So if he says yes, I didn't see it, or no, I didn't see it. The frogs aren't smart, neither am I.
You phrased that badly. I'm sorry.
I'm also confused here. So you can talk to nature, but it's not like, again, this frog doesn't have an intellect even as high as mine. So the communication is going to be difficult. But after a few moments conversing, you will get to the point that the frog spends a lot of its time here, and it is not unusual for pieces of wood to gather here, but they don't know where it comes from.
Right. Gotcha. Well, good talk. Good talk. Yeah. I wish you a plentiful supply of flies and a great egg laying season.
You get a pleasurable sort of thank you. It'll lash out and get a fly as if to like punctuate that, and then we'll jump into the water.
Oh, you sharp. And I'll just relay that to everyone. Yeah, I did. So yeah, fella didn't know if
Well, if we're
happened upstream, clearly.
yeah, if we're looking at what we're seeing, it seems like the wreckage floated down,
Yeah, that's what he said.
and these tracks tell me anyway that a survivor maybe floated down and crawled out. I'll look over to Reese's. I definitely call him Reese's though.
Okay.
So I know a lot of barges went missing. Did any of the pilots or crew ever come back that we're aware of?
No, we've got no indication as to why they have gone missing. So this would be great if we could find a survivor. We could maybe find out what's happening.
Well, I
and
think
it's definitely not a cybernetic werewolf. I can tell you right now, that's not it.
That's such a weird thing to bring up, sir.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah.
No tracks beyond the muddy bank.
So actually, you will need to roll again to see if you can pick the tracks up on the once they're up off the riverbank.
That D20 that just betrayed me a lot.
Well, I'm apparently in my element because that's a nat 20, ladies and gentlemen.
We're gonna have to get a dice cam on Caleb.
I swear to Cthulhu.
I believe you. I have no doubt of that.
Do you take a picture? No, take a picture of static.
So Gremlin, Daria, and Rio together are able to quickly triangulate some footprints. And part of the issue is that because the wagons actually have sort of parked right above where they came out, so you're having to sort of like walk around it a couple different times. And it actually looks like that the person got onto the bank and then kind of walked like a few feet this way, then a few feet this way, almost like they were confused. And then they eventually walked into the woods directly away from the river, not following this very well-worn track to either direction. And assuming this is someone from the barges, they would know roughly where they are and were likely closer to the dig site than to Ford's. So it makes no sense that they would not have followed the road either way, or especially south. But they headed off into the woods away from the river. And also remember, again, if you guys remember, the Fangs are 4 or 5 different rivers that flow together, and you're on the inside of the closest one. So if you keep walking, eventually you would hit another river. But it's like, a few miles farther inland. But you're on this little patch between the two of them. But other than that, you would have no idea why they would have went that way. It makes no sense.
Well, Reese, does anyone ever trek from river to river right here? Do you know?
No, we've never had reason to before.
And while he's talking, I'll be like checking for his shadow.
Saul does not have a shadow.
Not Saul, Reese.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yes. Risa would have a shadow.
I'll check, and then I'll look over at Rio and Saul and like silently.
Wait, what?
I think you're muted.
No, I'll tell you later. Just great. He's got great shoes. Got great boots there. Well, thank you.
All right. So you do have tracks that lead off. Rhesus is willing to call an early halt and give you time to explore, or he's happy to just continue on with the mission. It's really up to you what you'd like to do at this point.
And it's middle of the day.
It's after lunch, but like 2 hours early from what your normal stopping time would be.
You want to see how far we can track it?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's daylight-ish right now, relatively safe. Let's.
Right. It's only a dark, unexplored jungle. Well, what's the problem?
Hey, we all survived near death like a week ago. We're fine.
Hey, right.
Forests are easy. It's like a second home to me. You'll be fine.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? As long as there's, not shadow monsters or vixenish fake paladin women coming out of trees.
Yeah, that's
All right.
definite behavior you don't see in trees.
All right, so Rhesus, can we hang out here for a couple hours while we go check it out? Maybe we can see if there's any clues, or we can find the survivor themselves.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I'll just set up camp early tonight. We can definitely make this time up on another day. So we'll just go ahead and bring out a fire, get some food going. I would suggest you try to be back before dark if possible. If you're not back by tomorrow, I will leave without you.
No, that's totally fair. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I wish you well. If one of our crew is injured out there or wounded or lost, then I really hope you can find them.
Yeah.
We'll do our best.
Try.
All right. So we will just sort of montage it a little bit. So you're going into the woods, and this is again very marsh-like delta. So it's not like full-on Okefenokee swamp, but it's also a lot of water tracks. You're going in and out of these little ponds. Pools of water have gathered. The trees with the big giant roots that are everywhere. Every now and then there's like a slap of water as something dives into the water around you. So it's really difficult to follow any sort of tracks once you get off of this road that you have gone over. So you can still roll a tracking roll, but it's going to be very hard to get good directions. It's going to be more of a feel for things. Be a player has suggestions. Feel free to throw them in here. I mean, they're
right?
just going to ignore them like they ignore me, but maybe.
And I'll make marks along the cypress knees that stick up.
Okay.
As we go to kind of mark our way.
God,
so America. What is with me in sevens? That's a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And you're adding your skill into that, right? Your background?
Yeah, that's the extra 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
And your level?
No. No, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's my int and my level.
Plus your background.
That's 14.
Excellent.
So one of the things I would like to do as we are montaging this out, I want to try to use, because Rio is always using magic all the time. So beyond taking notes about things with a floating notebook and pen, I definitely want to try to, if I see a track that looks pretty good, I want to try to maybe use some force magic to knock things out of the way very gently, maybe use a little bit of ice magic to freeze the track so we can get a better idea of what it might actually look like. Or if I see something where the tracks, we're unsure which way it might go, maybe using a light spell and some of the darkness under the roots. Maybe using prestidigitation or something to say, basically try to do the, we project what path they might have been walking, with magical color, family circus lines in front of us. They're like, okay, if it actually was this way, they'd probably go that way. That's a tree. All right, so that's not it. Maybe it was this way. Okay, let's look over there. Try to find and hopscotch over to more clues.
Okay. So Saul, I haven't really heard from you. I know this is more of a Daria Rio thing, but what are you doing to contribute or stay out of the way, or what are you doing while they're doing their thing?
So, as the lost arcane champion of the Great Golden Worm, Saul has had his quite a few times of having to track people, or at least move through dangerous terrains, and he would like to try to use his background and knowledge to assist Daria and Rio in their in their tasks.
Okay. And don't forget too, you do have that flex skill every session.
Right,
You can
right.
just create some skill that you happen to know because you somehow have other people's memories for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it sounds like all three of you are working in concert. So I think it makes the most sense here. We're not going to have you roll. I just think that the three of you doing this, it makes sense to me that you're going to be able to sort of fuddle your way forward. There's definitely going to be some doubling back and missteps, but for the most part, you are making headway. And every now and then you're getting evidence of passage that seems not natural. So like a person was wandering. And the thing that you continue to see is this person doesn't seem to be moving in any sort of pattern that makes sense to you. They will travel in one direction for a while, then double partway back, and then go in a different direction, and then come back and zig and zag. And, maybe thought they were being followed and they were trying to like lose someone, but some of their turns were so close together, anyone watching would have seen them do everything. So it seems maybe they were befuddled or they were confused about where they were, and so they weren't making rational choices. But they were.
Is the growth?
Go ahead.
Sorry, is the growth particularly thick here,
or
something like that? It's like, I mean, if it was dark, they literally may not have been able to see where they were going.
And that is possible as well. If they couldn't see in the dark and they didn't have a light source, now they did know where the road was. Like they couldn't have missed the path. But if there was a reason why they didn't want to stay on the path and they wanted to get off of it, then that does maybe make sense that they were doing the best they could under those circumstances. But you continue to make a little bit of progress forward and forward. You are going more or less straight away from where they came out of the river. Again, it's not dead on, but for the most part, they're making more progress. What would eventually be, or essentially be easterly away from this river and towards the next part of the Fang. So you're getting pretty deep into this swampy area. So we're going to say about an hour has passed. So you're getting close to if we turn around now, we can make it back before dark point. But if you turn around and go straight back, you'll actually go a lot faster because you're not making all these wildly turns. So you're still a little bit on the upper side. And you're going to come to an area where there is sort of a mound of earth rises up out of the swamp. And it appears to be kind of verdant, so it's covered with flora that would make sense for this area. There's like petaled flowers, and it's probably about 8 or 9 feet up out of the water level. And in my mind, think about it as like the very top of a volcano. So there's just sort of this mound of earth that comes out, and it looks like it sort of gently crests in. Above it, hanging from a tree by their feet, stripped completely naked, completely white from blood loss, is a human male. So feet tied together, hanging from a tree, hanging directly over whatever this opening is. They appear to be completely bloodless.
Is there only one tree that's kind of at the top, or there are lots of trees?
There's only one tree, but there's like a branch that's long enough for them to be hung over this opening. So it's not like there's trees surrounding it.
Saul will cautiously approach the mound. First off, the person's, I assume they're dead, right? You said they're totally bloodless.
Yeah, they look like a corpse. There's no obvious wounds that you can see, but it very much looks like they've been held up and then bled.
Got it. With his staff kind of in hand, up in a defensive, posture out in front of him, he will slowly, climb the bank and motion for Rhea and Daria to, take a defensive position, or, ready to pull his bacon out of the fire.
I think we can spread out a little bit, like a couple arm lengths from each other, and maybe all go up. I'll at least go up alongside him, but a little bit off to the side.
Okay.
I'd like to get farther around, closer to the tree.
If I could tip, I would tip right now, because that was freaking hilarious.
Points.
Tip. Yeah.
Found the hanging Chad.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Funny.
Yep. All right. So again, my apologies. So you've sort of spread out, but is everyone moving up the mound, or is it just Saul at the moment?
I think Saul and Rio are both moving up. Daria was going over by the tree.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Rio and Saul you're going to be able to make it to the top of the mountain. Nothing's going to stop you. Once you're at the top of the mound, the body's still going to be probably a little bit out of reach because it's also in the middle of this opening. So the only way to really get it down would be to cut the rope, which Daria could do, or you could, do something like that as well. So when you crest the hill and you're looking in, again, it very much looks like the top of a volcano. It's probably about 15 feet in diameter, and it goes down about 5 feet below the rim, and it's just perfectly blue, crystal clear water. And it just looks like it's so almost like a well. It's just a pond, natural, whatever. So the water around you is swampy. This is perfectly clear blue water, and it goes deeper down further than you can see.
Standing on top of the well, Saul's gonna, he's gonna close his eyes and concentrate for a minute, and he's gonna attempt to attune himself to any ambient magic in the area, and I want to see if I can, detect anything that may be around here, something, latent magic or a magical creature, something like that may give, some clue as to what might be going on.
All right. Is that an ability that you
No,
have? Or, okay.
no, I'm using my my background of Lost Arcane Champion.
Perfect.
So I figured that was something, whether it's just using his natural skills to do it, or if it's some minor magical working, it doesn't particularly matter to me. But that's
perfectly. I just want to make sure if it was like an actual thing that we could like define. I didn't want to cheat you out of it. Okay, so give me a high or a low.
Low.
Low. Okay. You get the definite sense that some sort of like supernatural sacrifice occurred here. There is just sort of this maze of necrotic energy that emanates from this area.
I think they sacrificed this guy.
Sure, seems like it. Do we have any sense of who the they might be, though?
It appears to be humanoid, which there are humans that are obviously yourself included that are part of the dig site. Mostly are dwarves, but this just appears to be a human. Their clothes are missing, so they're literally just hanging completely naked. So there's nothing that they look to be like 30 years old in pretty good shape, as far as like musculature to that kind of thing, but there's really no identifying marks that you can see from them. No tattoos or any notable scars that would help identify them. They are just a hanging Chad.
Can we see anything about the wounds or what may have caused the bloodletting?
From here, it's hard to see. It's one of the things is that it almost looks like the body has also been cleaned, maybe because there's no like even drips. So there's no visible wounds that you can see, but you would have to actually get the body before you would be able to inspect it closer. So I'll jump to Daria for a minute. Daria, you're over by the tree. There's definitely it's just a rope. Nothing unusual about that. That is tying this man's legs together. That is tied up on a branch. But you don't see anything on the tree that look like a humanoid has climbed it to get up there to tie or untie the rope. There's no obvious signs of passage. But there's clearly a rope up there. What would you like to do?
I
also would mention that you would probably notice this. There's no natural wildlife around here at all. So there's no flies. There's no frogs.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah. So there's it's like a bubble where nothing is coming in here from the natural world.
Does this look like a natural spring, or is this arcane made?
It looks like a natural spring to you. But maybe someone has built it up again. Maybe like they tried to build like a well here, so maybe the earth was moved here thousands of years ago, whatever, to make this mound. But your sense is this is just a natural spring of some sort.
Okay. I'd like to cut him down if you guys think it's okay.
I kind of think that's a bad idea.
Is the surface of the water moving at all?
It is currently still.
So let's back away and have a conversation. Let's move to a safe distance,
Yeah.
knowing our luck, not even considering what a GM may do, knowing their track record.
It's ninjas.
There's not even a roof.
There's not even a
this
roof
time.
nearby. I can't do roof ninja.
Canopy.
I don't want to unleash anything.
So let's move away a little bit and have a chat. So here's what I'm thinking. Some sort of ritual happened here.
Yeah,
and definitely something bad.
Yeah,
It could be that the footprints we've been following were that poor fellow, and someone or something was luring him to this point. I don't know if they're still here watching. From just a purely logical standpoint, I don't want to drag that guy back through the jungle to the wagon.
True. I just also don't want to. If I cut him down, it might undo whatever this sacrifice did, and we might wake something up. That's my fear.
I mean, I learned very early on when I was exploring ruins that it's usually better to not touch things. So,
True.
how about this? We kind of know where we are for the most point. I think between the three of us, we could find this spot again if we needed to. Let's take a very careful observation of what we see. Let me draw some sketches. Let's look at it from all angles. Let's see if we can draw a good approximation of this guy's face.
Yeah.
Head back to safety.
Yeah.
Maybe Rhesus will recognize him. If not, let's complete our job. And maybe we can do some research on this area when we get to town. Maybe we can find something about dwellers out here or religious practices and point us in the right direction.
Yeah, I think I'd hate to think that river bargemen are getting sacrificed for something.
I mean, it does make sense if none of them are coming back. Something forces them to crash, and someone or something out here draws them out and uses them. That's a good theory as any.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
What about you, Saul? Sometimes you get random ideas about things we are doing.
I think that it's pretty spot on and that it's a good plan. I definitely don't want to. I mean, I don't want to really leave the guy hanging there, but until we know more about it, it's probably best not to take him down.
I don't want it to be bait more than a sacrifice for whatever this is.
It could also be a trap.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So
I'm offended. Just put it out there.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
So let's
go back.
Yeah, I'm going to make some more sketches. I'm going to try to get a ballpark of this guy's face. Write down all of these details that we've been observing, and we're going to head back to camp.
All right. Yeah. So again, going straight towards camp, it's a much shorter trek, probably like half the amount of time that it took to get there. So it's not going to take you nearly as long. So you're still going to get back probably around the time that you would normally stop for dinner. As you're getting close, you actually will run upon Alfan, who looks like he may have been sort of at the edge, like looking out for you. And so as you approach, he's the first one, so he'll wave you down and be like, "Hey, well, did you find anything?" Will be the first thing he would ask.
Maybe.
Well, Hey, before we're not sure really. I just wanted to know, Alfan, have you been on trips here recently? Have you lost anyone?
No, we've never lost anyone, but it's usually just me and Rhesus. Like, there's other groups, but there's almost always just two people. And as far as I know, they've never lost any of us.
Well, that's good to know.
All right. Well, if you're hungry, let's head back to camp. We actually have some visitors. Another group caught up with us, so we're going to be sharing meals tonight. It's a lady and some soldiers with her. I think Marion. I think that's her name. As he'll turn.
I'm not hungry.
And then that is where we're going to call it for tonight. So thank you all, everyone, for hanging out. I super appreciate you giving our channel a chance. Tip and Alex, thank you so much for the cheers. Someone sent me a message to tell me kind of what they meant. So thank you. It's very generous. I really appreciate it. So Shadow Spawns is our 13th age actual play. We do this every other week on Tuesdays. So we won't be here next Tuesday, but we'll be back the week after. On the opposite week of us, on Wednesdays, Tom runs a 5e game, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Tomorrow night, I'm doing Detention, which is our live TTRPG talk show. I bring on random co-hosts, and we just talk about role-playing games and different sort of things. Could always be a fun time. And then during the day, sometime during the week, I also play some video games. I do some mini painting, a bunch of random stuff. But mostly, we're a podcast. So we have hundreds of hours of audio-only podcasts that you can go back and listen to. Us running games, playing games, talking about games, that kind of stuff. Lisa, tell everybody again who you are and where they could find you on the internet if they want to check out your socials.
I am Lisa Lee, and you can find me on Twitter at Lisa Bell, LIISABELLE. You can find me at Lisa Lee on Instagram, and that's all food mostly and recipes. And gluten-free cooking. I know. And Facebook, but and then games coming up that I am recording tomorrow and can't talk about.
Oh, we will stay tuned till we can find more. All right, Caleb.
NDA. Great game.
Hey, so yeah, my social is at the Caleb G. I am mostly on Twitter. On Instagram, I talk about pancakes. I think you're going to hear my voice over on the Identico podcast feed this week for some bonus episodes. And who knows what else may happen.
Who knows? All right. To quickly tip, yeah. So normally Shadow Spawns is roughly 2 hours long. That's kind of what we aim for on these. The Ghost of Saltmarsh is usually a little bit longer, 3.5. And then the audio stuff we do can vary in length. Episodes are 30 minutes to an hour and a half. It just depends on what's going on. All right, Brad.
You can find me on Twitter at Force and Destiny.
Easy peasy. All right. Well, thank you all again for hanging out with us. Thank you all for playing. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back in 2 weeks to find out what Marion's been up to.
Stabbing people, I'm sure.
Oh, that makes me laugh if no one else. So thanks, and I'll